Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is this one, which you can't see. Let me show you. It is a beautifully decorated box, but it is one great big stamp set that covers two sides at a time. So I've stamped it twice and I wanted to show you how to do it. So there is a little bit of stop-start with it. So if you want to recreate this with this particular stamp set or a big background stamp set, do make sure that you head onto my blog, the description bar. If you click open the description bar, you'll find a hyperlink directly to the project and you'll be able to watch the video on screen with the instructions underneath. So it's just a simple lidded box, but let me show you how to do it. So first up, you need a pale coloured cardstock and you need a darker one that you also have a matching ink for. So I'm going Balmy Blue, Night of Navy, and this measures 9.5 by 7 3/4 inches, which is 23.5 by 19 centimetres. Okay, so first thing you want to do is that you're going to score the short side first, and you're only going to score it at 2 1/4 inches, which is 5.5 centimetres. Then you come round and you score on the long side at 9 inches only, which is 22 centimetres. Okay, then we're going to stamp, then we're going to come back. So this beautiful stamp set is called Daisy Garden. It is one of our background stamps, so you know, perhaps you've seen it being used already and it has maybe been used with a very pale neutral colour. I'm not. I'm going to do big and bold with a dark colour. So just going to make sure that's well covered. And what you're looking for is this score line here and this score line here. I'm probably going to have to stand to do this so I don't get in the camera. And do you know what? I'm going to fold that out of the way. That just will be easier. But you've got a lid going on as well. So you're positioning it where that you're going to have a space for your lid to sit over the top. And the lid is 1 inch deep, 2.5 centimetres. So you're looking to be below that line. But you don't want to go into the far side. Okay? And then you just re-ink. I really am stood. You probably got my nose in the camera or something like that. And you just move along and repeat the same. And I'm just checking where my images are. Okay. So that's the stamping done. We now need to do a little bit more scoring, and yes, I've sat back down. Whoopsie, sat back down again. Pop that lid on. So you come back to this on the long side, and we do more scoring at 2 1/4. Oh, and jump it. 2 1/4, 4.5, and 6 3/4. Which in metric is 5.5, 11 and 16. And you can see it fits just nicely. And then the lid is 4 1/4 inches on all four sides. Oh, it's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, which is 10.5 by 10.5 centimetres. And you're going to score it at 1 inch, but adjust it very slightly, so slightly less than an inch on each side, which is 2.3 centimetres on each side. Okay, right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, well, as much as I can. I'm going to get my very favourite Wink of Stella. No, that would be a chalk marker. That's the Wink of Stella. And I'm only going to do a couple of these because we'd be here for ages. And you just pick up the ink and move it around. I'm just looking to see what you can see. Yes, you can see that. So that is giving that beautiful depth of colour that you might otherwise have lost. and it just looks totally different. So actually, you know what, I'll do a bunch of these and we'll have a little chatter. I probably should have said, is there a Q, you know, has anybody got any questions, and I'll answer them while I'm filming, but didn't think of that. But this is a nice technique to do. And like I say, you need to be using a dark ink over a pale toning colour paper. Cardstock would be best. Hence why Blackberry Bliss worked very well over Blushing Bride. Other ones that would work would be Merry Merlot. That's a nice deep rich colour. Cherry Cobbler. The dark greens work over the pale greens, so Shaded Spruce works over soft Seafoam very well. The yellow's not so good because we don't have a really deep yellow. We have some lovely yellows, but we don't have a, you know, a very, very deep one. Or we don't have enough of a contrast. What else would work well? The Magenta Madness and Melon Mambo are nice pinks. They're not quite dark enough. Well, they are dark enough to do this. You just can't see the obvious contrast quite so well on those as you can with these deep colours. So pick a Regal and pick a Subtle and you should be okay. So I'll keep going around on this one. So that's then the whole of one stamped image. But what a lovely, lovely gift box for somebody. Or you could just have it as something nice and pretty in your home. And there is a little bit of a glitter going on, glimmer, shimmer. I don't know if you can see it or not. But it's very pretty. If you don't like Wink of Stella, or, you know, glitter isn't your thing, you could do this with an aqua painter. A blender pen might be a little bit too long because you want the brush that I've got here, or like I've got here. There you go. So that's that done. And to clean this up, I'm just going to take my instructions, and you just wipe over until all the colour, there is no more colour coming off, and then that's good to go. Right, so I won't do this side. What I am going to do now is burnish everything. It's quite the contrast, isn't it? Oh, I haven't zoomed back out again. But it is quite a difference, isn't it, between... And I haven't used any other ink. Literally just bled that colour around. So that's all burnished. I'll burnish the lid as well. And with the lid, I'm going to cut straight down the rectangle, wedge into the square, and rotate round. And then with a longer pair of scissors, I'm going to trim a little teeny bit off the top, take away this rectangle down at the bottom that I don't need, and then just cut straight up these parts. And then grab my tear and tape. So I'm going to put tear and tape along here. And that's the back. I'm going to decide that's the back. And fold in two sides and the back. I'll have a bit more tape on here. I would if I could get the backing off. Let's try the other end. Lovely. And then the lid. taking off all of those panels, and then I can put it all together. You just bring those round. And lid on. Oops. And those, I think, are lovely. Just very nice, aren't they? Very different, I think. And yeah, oh look, I didn't zoom out a bit more. There we go. Let's make everybody dizzy for a bit. I just think they're lovely. I think it's very different. A little unusual, perhaps, one might say. But I just think they're very nice, and I hope you like them too. Thank you ever so much for joining me. Bye.